Recording? Yep. What's good, everybody? It's the D Lynch Show. I'm your host, D Lynch. I got a very special guest, my man, Lush One. What's good, man? Thank you for coming by.
Shit, what's happening? You feel me? Good to see you, D. Leezy.
Hey, it's good to see you, bro. I've known Lush for a while. I met Lush first back, what was it, like '07,
I was
something,
gonna say
'08 or something like that?
over a decade ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I've known this guy since I was real young, man. This dude was one of the
But I
first.
was still old.
Yeah. Hey, but still icy as fuck, though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, I got somebody in my on my comments asked exactly how you stay so icy.
I think fashion's always been really a big passion of mine, just like dressing cool. That was always like a huge motivating factor in my life. So I just always like to stay fresh, always cognizant, you feel me, and my family's fresh, so, we're Italian and shit. Like my pops would slap me upside the head if I had a stain on my shirt, you feel me? So
I feel that. I can respect that. Well, man, like I was saying, Lush was one of the first guys to really show me love in this, so I got a lot of love and respect. Definitely had to come and get him on the show, and he's been dropping.
mutual, bro. Congrats on all your success, man. I see
Hey,
what you're
thank you,
doing.
brother. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. And you've been dropping some heat, bro. I told you, I caught that gold bricks in the wall when you first dropped it back then, man. And then you've been releasing music like crazy, man. Tell people what you've been up to, man.
Well, since in the past year, I put out 4 albums. There's the Fresh Coast Non-Perishables, Volume 4 compilation. There was my solo record, Above the Devil. There was my collaborative effort with my group 667 Cult, Cultivate. Shouts to Bobby Butcher and Zuda Vale and Rob Anthony and Chef Boy Bones and everybody else. And then me and my boy Bobby, we put out the collaborative album Hangovers and Withdrawals.
I
And
love that record.
I appreciate you, dog. And
Go ahead. My bad.
And obviously, like, my single White Lies. So I'm dropping a lot of shit. Put out about 6 or 7 videos this year so far, and got another album coming out in the midst of all this other chaos.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's staying active as always. Very busy dude as always. I want to circle back.
Just trying not to get any STDs, bro, and I don't like condoms.
Hey, man. Hey, well, I want to circle back real quick to that collaborative record that you talked about. I love everything you do, but, man, that collaborative joint was ridiculous. What was the motivation behind doing that one?
Well, Bobby's a good friend of mine. We work really well together. He actually helped really expand my musical horizons a lot and just helped me tap into parts of my artistry that I didn't know were there. I think it's important as artists that we stay open-minded, like music's never been something that came particularly difficult. Like, it's not, I never was one of these rappers. I was like, oh, I have a dream to make it in hip hop one day.
Sure.
Like, nah, people just said I was dope. So I rapped. You feel me? I'm a hustler there, but you know what I mean? But people always said I was nice. And so I just rapped. It was like the streets chose me. I didn't choose myself. Bobby, we came together, a lot of members from our crew at the time was on tour. So we was just kind of bored and we banged that shit out in like 6 days. We didn't have a studio. We broke into the studio. We fucking recorded that shit. It was crazy. But 6 days later, and I don't really remember making it because I was kind of in a dark period in my life. So, but it came out fire. So I was used.
Yeah, it's a great album, man. I'm a fan. I bump it all the time, and it's dope too because you're such a versatile MC, bro. I just watched a video actually right before this podcast that I never saw before, where it says Lush One imitates everybody, where you're rapping like everybody. And I was like, man, this dude really can just do. How long have you been actually rapping for, bro?
Shit, since like the late '90s, but I didn't really. I was rapping in the late '90s, fool. Like, I remember my first battle, like my first time ever rapping. Like, I told everybody at school that I could rap, but I couldn't. I'd just been writing rhymes. So I'm probably like in 9th grade at the time, and then one of the kids from the basketball team tried to battle me. So I was like, "Fuck, I guess I got to rap now," and I did, and it was tight.
Yeah, so that's dope because of course I have to ask. You're you're very active with
I
music.
started on 4-track tapes, fool. I was recording myself on 4-track tapes.
That's crazy, bro. That's a really, really long time. Now, you mentioned the battle rap. You know, somebody tried to battle you on the playground. That's actually a good segue because obviously so many people know you as, you know, the Fresh Coast, the battle rap
Yeah.
culture. How did
Yeah.
that all come about? How did you get active in that? And then how, you know, we all know the story of how it blew up, but how did it start?
Because I was good at freestyling.
Okay.
And and LA is like it's a freestyle city. You know what I mean? Like this is a place where, you know, there's different definitions of the word freestyle. You know what I mean? Like in New York, a freestyle just means a free form verse about whatever that could go over any beat. You know what I'm saying? You look at the old Flex mixtapes, the old fucking DJ Doo-Wop, DJ Ron G mixtapes. It would say like Nas freestyle or Ghostface Killer freestyle, but it's just them rapping a regular verse that you ain't heard before. Like
Mm-hmm.
in LA, the West Coast, freestyle always meant impromptu off the head rhyme. And I had a propensity for doing that. That's like one of the original ways I started rapping was just off the head, stream of consciousness. And then my first rap group I was in, my first real rap group, the Liquid Monastery, I was the one that could do that shit. So like when other crews would be around and we wanted to stun on them, just have Go Lush serve everybody. You feel me? So, and that was the beginning. My first on stage MC battle was Oakland Mic Check 2002. I battled Reef the Lost Cause in the
That's dope.
semifinals.
That's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah, it was dope. We got the same birthday. Shouts to Reef.
Hey, that's even doper. I'm a big fan of Reef as well. That's dope, man. So I'm sure this is a question you've probably been asked a million times, but how and when did battle rap go from the freestyle to the written format?
Well, it always was in New York. Like, I mean, not to say
Oh,
that
okay.
not to say that everyone in New York was doing that, because like there was like two different scenes.
Right.
And like, so you had like obviously there's Scribble Jam, but there was big annual freestyle tournaments in New York at the time too. Like there was one called Bragging Rights. There was Rock Steady. There's a few ones every year. So you had guys like, you know, Tone Deaf, Immortal Technique, Pac FM, Iron
Right.
Solomon, you know what I'm saying? All
Right,
those
right.
fools. Pumpkinhead, RIP, my brother, you feel me? That they was all doing that, and they were the freestyle battle rappers from New York. But you also had Loaded Lux and Murder Mook and Sirius Jones and all these dudes that were always spitting writtens. You know what I mean? Well, Jones is a freestyler, but a lot of New York MCs were always doing that. So, you know, I'd say the popularity transitioned around 2009, 2010, you know, 2008, really, during the beginning of in between the WRCs and the beginning of the YouTube Battle League era, the grind time era. That's when it went from freestyle to written.
Yeah, YouTube fucking changed everything for so many artists, especially I feel like the battle rap culture, obviously. It was such a
YouTube's
massive
dope
change.
because it made it so like MTV was obsolete. You feel me? Like we
Right.
became our own MTV. Like, and then once you added other social media platforms like IG and that to the equation, like where we could document our own lives, we really don't need anybody else. We could do it ourselves, and we become the network.
Yeah, man. And it was so dope because, you know, I watched it all kind of blow up and really go full swing. And it motivated so many people, you know, including myself. You know, that's how we met. I used to battle rap and I tried to do my thing in that, man. And it just motivated so many people to do their own shit. And you guys showed so many people that, you know, you can do your own thing, not, you know, have to be a slave to major labels or anything like that. Even if you want to do work with the majors, it's all good, but you can do your own thing and still make something from it.
Yeah, nowadays the majors ain't finna even fuck with you until you making some noise and being
Right.
certified. You know what I mean? You got to show them, yo, I'm capable of because they ain't doing no artist development. That shit's antiquated as fuck.
Right. And you guys were like right there in the start of that, which is, you know, which is one of the big reasons I wanted you on this show, because a big thing that the show is about is, you know, music, business, education, but more so of how shit's transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you guys were like right there in the beginning before it even really took off, well before the streaming culture happened and everything.
Yeah, well, it was you know, I think that it was an interesting time for the industry because people didn't really know, the industry didn't know how to sell music and how to monetize it anymore, since people
Mm-hmm.
weren't buying albums. They were trying to slang ringtones and shit. That shit only lasted for a couple years, you know what I mean?
Right.
That was around the time when we saw our first internet rappers, like the first rappers were getting their deals from their social media presence. Soldier Boy being the one that really sticks out to me. He was like the first dude to get signed off of MySpace, and then
Yeah, man.
shortly after that, Krayshawn and a bunch of artists, did the same thing, and it was dope because like I was like our YouTube channel was lit to the point where like could upload a video and we'd be in the top 100 channels. You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
were one of the top YouTube channels at the time before they really had too much, government regulation for abrasive content and da-da-da-da-da and all these funky little algorithms that threw, baseball cards in the motherfucking spokes and flipped us
Oh yeah,
over and
man.
shit. You feel me?
You guys were fucking everywhere, bro. Like I remember like to the point people were making like cartoons and shit. Like you
Yeah,
guys,
there's a gang of cartoons.
yeah, man. Like it was such a revolutionary thing, man. And yeah, I think it, I think you guys definitely deserve the credit of being some pioneers to the whole new movement of, especially the YouTube hip hop culture, and I'm curious to see where you think it's going to go from here, because so much has changed since then, obviously, right?
Yeah, a lot has changed since then. I think it's just now like I think what we are now is like that was kind of the beginning of where we at now, which is that further down the rabbit hole. And like right now is a fucking awesome era
Mm-hmm.
because if you are lit enough artists, if you have what you got to do at this point is just create your own fan base, create your own niche, create your own cult following. You feel me? That's just gonna, like me, like my numbers is straight, but my numbers is like not the craziest as to where like you'd be surprised off of how much money I make off of music. But I do it because my fan base is that dedicated. They will buy everything that I put out. I found my jits, all these motherfuckers that drop the rooster emojis on everything I post. They're like, they will
Right.
buy whatever I do. They will supplement, like, my life because they want me to keep creating this content for them. So like really, as an artist right now, it's like, people like me or like bigger people that are more prominent, where I'm able to record a song. If I wanted to, I could have that bitch uploaded to SoundCloud and do 20 million streams in 2 days. You feel me? Like then all of a sudden it's like, there's no need for a label. You feel me? And then like,
Right.
and then as an artist, you get into like other ways of monetizing your craft besides doing shows. Like shit, if you have a personality, you could be a brand ambassador. You know, to dress, you could be a brand ambassador. You know what I'm saying? There's like all these different ways to flip it. And one of my new ventures is I have a new thing where I launched me and my boy Bobby, we launched our own label. You feel me? Like
Oh,
for up
dope.
and coming artists. So I'm gonna get into more about that later, but just know that Finesse ENT coming soon.
Well, we could, if you want, we could talk about that now, man. What's the scoop on that? What's the plans for that?
Well, basically, there's a lot of talented artists that you know the saying, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't drown that motherfucker.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, all the artists that are hungry enough to actually drink from the river. You feel me? Like I don't want to use the word thirsty in that connotation because it sends a bad message. You know?
Right. Yeah.
So hungry enough to eat that water, I will and have the means and talent to do so. This is kind of my way of supporting the artists that I believe in without it being where it's like an extension of my brand, but it's separate from my brand and separate from 667, which,
Okay.
was started by Bobby, you know what I'm saying, and the homie Two Heads. So like, you know what I mean? But as you see the 6 chain, you feel me? It's like, you know what I'm saying? That's to the death right there.
Yeah, man. So what do you, it's dope because I'm sure you guys, you guys are well versed in this, and especially if you're starting your own label, I'm sure it's something that's been looked into.
Yeah.
It seems like nowadays, obviously a lot of the majors are still spending a bunch of money on radio, but it seems that indie labels are really focusing their budget more on the avenue of Facebook ads and YouTube ads and stuff like that. But
the YouTube ads and all that shit are cool. Like what I would focus money on is without giving away too much sauce, what I would focus money on is like your fucking actual product itself. Like
Mm-hmm.
get dope videos, you feel me? Like have your shit look right. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can, at the end of the day, if the music's not there and the image isn't there and it doesn't all translate, like it don't matter how many fucking ads you buy, people are not gonna click on that shit.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Too
And
many people that have no business being in front of a camera are trying to be stars. Like,
yeah.
nah, fool, you're fucking fat and ugly. Stay fucking making beats. You feel me? Like, don't be in front of a camera. Like, you feel me? Like,
Yeah, no, I understand.
fucking pick up a camera. Don't be on the other side. This is for good looking people that people want to see.
Right. And I wanted to ask you that because I think that, you know, obviously, dude, you're like one of the masters at branding yourself. And one of the things people are drawn to you for is your brand and your personality. And I kind of wanted you to shed some light on the emphasis and the importance of building your own personal brand, like you being the brand personally.
I mean, a lot of artists like back in the day, they wouldn't, thank you, first of all.
Of course.
A lot of artists back in the day, they wouldn't want to spend too much time focusing on the business aspect or branding themselves or worrying about that shit because they would consider it selling out or it would take away time from their creativity. What I say is your personality is an extension of your art. The way you express yourself, the way you dress, your whole brand, that is the knife that carves your fucking niche. If you don't have that, you could have fucking, you could be sitting on Illmatic by Nas. You can, you know what I'm saying? You could be sitting on Good Kid, Mad City. You know what I'm saying? It don't fucking matter because no one will want to hear that shit.
Yeah, I think that's
You're doing yourself a disservice, and you're actually not that dope of an artist. You're just like good in a studio. You make good songs, that means.
right.
But what does that really mean? That's not what it's even about right now.
You know,
I mean, obviously you gotta have good songs. That's a bare minimum, though. That's a prerequisite. That's like saying, well, to win a marathon, it's probably a good idea to have 2 legs.
I mean, that's true, man. Having
But then again,
good
that dude Prefontaine, the guy that for the Nike fool, he had like 1 leg and he won a marathon, I think.
That is true. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But I think that yes, you're having good content is it's like the basic prerequisite to this shit. And I think that nowadays we're kind of forced because information moves so quick and there's so much going on where nowadays you're kind of forced to develop a brand for yourself because we're in an age where we're also in an age where you can get a shitload of streams on your record, but that doesn't mean you're going to sell tickets to your show. You know what I mean?
No.
There's all kinds of people with all kinds of streams, but when they try to play a show, there ain't nobody there. You know what I'm saying? So
that's why it's important to find who your fans are,
yeah,
target them, and interact with them as much as possible. Like I've like created my own army and like created an identity. I created because when you're a kid, like a lot of kids, they define themselves by music. Like back in the day, now it's cool because you see like, you know, like goth culture, rock culture, punk culture, and hip hop culture all kind of coagulating. But back in the days, it was like, yo, I'm hip hop, son. You know what I'm saying? Or like, hey, I'm a rocker, bro. And there wasn't any fucking middle ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, my whole thing is like, create. Like nowadays, you have complete freedom to just be your fucking self. And you know what I'm saying? Like that's and create a sense of belonging. Tap into that same like search of identity that a lot of these fans have and then create a common ground. Now, my fans come together and they become friends with each other just because they're jits, just because they drop that rooster emoji. You feel me? Like, and their common ground is fucking with Lush. And I create that whole world for them. You feel me?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, man. I think that's exactly what artists are kind of being forced to do right now. And if they're not really doing it, I think they're going to fizzle out. But you said something that I think was really dope because I actually mentioned this and it's related, but it's also not related. I said this in the last podcast where I feel like this new wave of hip hop is really punk rock, bro. Like I feel like, very punk rock, man. And it's
well, I think there's elements of it that are really punk rock. Like when you see like all the Florida kids, like, you know, R.I.P. XXX, you know what I'm saying? And that whole wave, that's very punk influence. They mosh at their shows and everything.
Yeah, man.
And then there's like, I also feel like we're in a glam rock era, hair metal era of rap as well. That's why you see all this, you know, it's like super extravagant, you know, like almost androgynous looking clothes. You feel me? Artists like Young
Sure.
Thug, I feel like mirror David Bowie in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah, I can see that.
so I feel like that's all the opulence, all the, you know, extravagant, you know, like outfits and everything that the Migos wear. And to me, that's a big, like, that's super hair metal to me.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. It just makes me think, you know, because it's funny. You have a lot of people who in hip hop who criticize the new wave, but it's
All
the
who
same
are
shit
these
they were
people
saying
who
about
criticize
punk,
that?
right?
But who is it? It's just fans and old people. They could all
True.
suck my fucking dick. You feel me? Like,
Yeah,
this is youth-driven culture, bro. Like what the fuck
always.
are you mad about? You're mad that young black kids are able to feed their families and you're fucking still struggling? Like, fuck anybody that talks shit about this generation.
Yeah, it just seems to me like the same shit they were saying about punk kids in the 80s, you know
It's
what I
the
mean?
same shit they were saying about the rap music that they're championing, that they're championing. Back like most fools are too young to remember. I'm not. So I'm about to be 37 this month, but I don't tell my age. But we can tell my age.
Yeah.
Fucking it's on my Facebook. Fucking when I was
God damn it, Facebook.
God damn it. When I remember back like in the mid '90s, there was a huge amount of criticism of Tupac, Biggie Smalls. Like these were artists that looked, oh, they're talking about guns, and De La Soul was dissing Tupac on records for being a negative force in hip. You know what I
Oh
mean? Like,
yeah, yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
it's like, and people were saying, well, hip hop needs to get back to its olden day
There you
roots,
go.
like KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane. And when they were rapping, is we need to bring it back to Run DMC, and you know what I mean? It's always like people are always going to say their generation is better, and you know why, bro? It's not based on anything other than nostalgia. It's based on the first time that they heard Juicy. They were 13 years old at a fucking bar mitzvah party,
Right,
fingering little
right.
Susie Stinkfinger. You feel me? And all of a sudden, it's the greatest song of all
Oh
time.
my God, Susie Stinkfinger needs to be on a fucking t-shirt.
You feel me? So they were their memories are associated with their nostalgia. So it's not even really that it's better music. It's music that they relate to or has warm memories to them. You feel me? Like the warmth of the inside of Susie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
been eating a little too much of them member berries. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, man. Well, shit, man. Moving on. So I do this with every guest who comes on here. I ask them all the time, what are Lush One's five rules to success in making it in the hip hop game?
that's a good one.
I know it's a little loaded.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm just gonna do what pops into my head because I don't have like a 5 prerequisites.
Yeah,
You
just
know what I'm
wing
saying?
it.
Like,
For sure.
number one, don't fuck anybody over. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just gonna come back. Whoever you see on the way up, you finna see on the way down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
facts.
do good business. Number one, you feel me? Number two, be original, or else you finna get kuro. You know what I'm saying? Number three, don't fraud. Don't lie about shit because that shit's gonna bite you in the ass. Don't lie about your past. Don't try to fabricate stories that are gonna wind up, you know what I'm saying, wind up coming back to you that you might have to answer for. Number four, definitely don't talk that fucking gangster shit if you're really not about it. And especially in a city like LA, because you might not wind up getting hurt, but you will wind up getting taxed and or hurt. And number five, the most important rule, there are no fucking rules.
Hey, I like that. That last one that's the most important thing, man. There's no right or wrong way to make music. It's music. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. So you got a new album coming up, and
Yes, sir.
I've been saving this one. But so
It's
tell
good.
us about the new project, man.
It's called Kennedy Benz. I'm pretty juiced about it. It's in the mixing and mastering stages right now. I'm just slicing tracks. Originally, it was going to be like 11. I think I might make this shorter and then put out another one in a couple months because I already have enough material for a few projects. But I'm not somebody that likes to just record. I'm sitting on over 100 records that are unreleased right now, but at least. But I like to put shit out, and I think that's an important part of an artist thing. And this might not be one of the rules, but this is something really important. Like don't sit on music for too long, or else it gets played out. Put that shit the fuck out. The trends of the culture moves fast, and I know you want to make something that's timeless, but it's very easy to sound dated and not even realize it. I like to stay ahead of the curve constantly. This project kind of is a reflection of a lot of the crazy shit I went through, splitting up with bitches, not tripping about it, moving on, getting new bitches. You feel me? Using hustling, selling dope, and buying fly shit as a way to escape from the pain in your life. Drug use, you know what I'm saying? It deals with a lot of different topics, but I like to make rap music that doesn't make you feel like a fucking loser when you listen to it. So all my shit is turned.
Well, hey, that's dope though. I like that. That's the kind of shit I like, where
Why do you listen to
turned,
rap music, not the fucking like Sing We Are the World? And man, if I want to feel some type of way, I'm gonna listen to like Marvin Gaye. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some artist said, Mary J. Blige put me in my feels. You feel me? I don't need like, and people say that my music like helps them relate on an emotional level, blah, 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 blah. I get hundreds of fans every day hitting me up, and I actually talk to my fans. And that's another thing that I should have mentioned earlier. It's important to be interactive. Once you cultivate this cult following, it's important to interact with them and keep them engaged. So, you know, if my fans are going through it, they're having a rough time, they can call me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give my personal number out and all that shit.
That's dope. Yeah, man. You definitely, you've always been a man of the people. That's how we even know each other. You know, I was just some fucking random kid, you know, trying to get in the battle culture.
I can smell them though. I can smell when they're about to be somebody. I have good instincts with you.
Hey, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that a lot. That definitely means
a lot. We still got to get that track done, bro. We still got to get some.
I know, man. It's been a crazy year on God, though. We're getting that done.
Okay. Sure. From your mouth to God's ears. I didn't see any lightning bolts. I think
I think we'll be good. Nah, we definitely getting that in, bro. I got a whole pack I can send you. Also, we'll handle that for sure. But yeah, man, you've definitely been a man of the people. You know, at every event I've seen you at, you're just always in the mix, always in the crowd, where you see, you know, when you go out to a show or any kind of event, you're not really sure what you're going to get. You don't know if the people are going to be in the green room the whole time or if they're going to be out with the people. And you were always out, you know, smoking with the people, chilling, conversing.
Yeah, if you don't see me out with the people, I'm somewhere nervous as fuck for some reason. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I'm always with the people because I don't get nervous.
Well, that's good, man. I think, you know, it's a weird thing too. You know, no matter how many times you tour, no how many times you play a show or in front of people, those weird artist jitters never really fully go away. They lurk around.
It's more like excitement. Sometimes. Like for me, like I've been fucking shot at. You feel me? I've been stabbed. I've been in jail. I've been in juvie. I done overdosed on drugs a gang of times. You feel me? I done had fucking 3 boxes, which is in the trunk. You feel me? Like I ain't scared of shit. But as far as rapping, you put me in front of any crowd. I performed with Sting before. I performed with fucking Bob Dylan before in front of 25,000 people. Like I ain't scared to fucking rap. You feel me? That's just light. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you heard it first, dude. Lush One performed with Sting. I didn't know that. That's insane.
Yeah, you shout to my boys Chinese Man Records. Yep.
Hey, man, that's what I mean. You're a versatile motherfucker, dude. You're all over the place. I love it.
It's a good thing and a bad thing because that's difficult to to actually tie down as a brand, and it's taken me this many years for people to even understand me somewhat. A lot of people still get me twisted. It took other people portraying my likeness on camera for people to even from 10 years ago for people to catch up to what I was doing then, much less right now.
Yeah, that makes sense,
you know
man.
Yeah, I ain't scared though. As far as fear, bro, I walk around with all this jewelry on, all this shit on, bro. Like, run up, try to take it from me, see what the fuck happened. You feel me?
Oh yeah, of course, 100%, 100%. So, how do you doing so much at one time? Like I said, you're always very active, man. How do you juggle everything?
What did Nas say? Sleep is a cousin of death.
I love that. I love that. There it is, right there. There it is right there. Well, hey, man, I don't want to keep too much. I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're a busy guy. I sincerely appreciate you coming through, man. Much respect in the world to you as always.
Now, who popped more pills than a little bit? I'm the richest idiot. Known to pack a Smith when Big Willie on some jiggy shit. Keep a 40 on me like the mix I sit. Only folk who live like this, flipping bricks and hitting licks. I'll pimp your bitch, she a 304. So turn her friends out 2, maybe 304. Pop a bean, then I reach my mode. Higher than a Marshawn when I beast on hoes. Creep by slow in the Mac Black 7 series. Touching so much fucking onions, I've been getting teary. Tuscan leather in the red interior.
Hey, hey, that
You
was a
ain't in
little
the upper
unexpected
bracket. You ain't
surprise.
getting near me. The feds got theories. Struggle to make sense of my wealth when I spend my salad on that French dressing Chanel. They try to catch me for possession and sales. Someone should have told the DA having evidence helps. Did I mention my belt? A stack just for the H. They found my ratchet. Tried to throw a wrench in the case. Gelato Jumbo, this is just for the face. Yes, cute, but I slide on her just for the face. Expensive taste. I could probably eat Oprah box. My bitch titties so big they look Photoshop. Plus her walk extra meaner than Manolo Blondes. All she think about my paper. Yeah, I know those thoughts.
That was an unexpected surprise, man. You never know what you're gonna get. It's hip hop shit, man. I love it.
That's how we coming, baby. Real
Hey,
gangster.
man.
Much love, 667 call 5150 the Crook Gang all day. We out here, baby.
Hey,
Shouts to
man.
D-Rich.
Hey, shout out to you, Lush One, man. Any last words for the people?
Much love, do you trust in God.
Hey, man. Much love, bro. I appreciate you as always. Thank you for popping by. I'm gonna definitely hit you about that track. Let's get on that track for sure, bro. I'm gonna hit you about that.
I'm excited. Let me know when this out. We blasting this bitch. I like this interview.
Hey, man. Much love, homie. We'll talk soon, man. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.